All right, good evening and good afternoon, everyone. We've given everyone about 5 minutes to get on into the room here. I know that sometimes Ring Central can be kind of nutty, so just wanted to make sure that everyone had the opportunity to come in. If you have any questions, make sure that you're putting them in the Q&A box, contrary to what the send me your questions box says. I just realized it says put it in the chat. However, go ahead and put it into the Q&A section. So that way we can make sure that we see that. Sometimes we can chatter and say things in the chat box and it gets lost. So I want to make sure that everything is centralized in one space. And I already got her from Natalia that she can hear me. So is that true for everyone else that's saying that they don't have audio? Mark, Megan, can you hear me? Put anything that you have to say that's not a question in the chat. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say, oh, thank you, David, for confirming you can hear me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Peter. I keep coming in and out. Really interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to continue here. So I will speak up if that's the case there. And Tatiana can hear me. Megan, it sounds like you said you still don't have any audio. Well, we're going to go ahead because in this case, majority rules, so most people can hear me. So you may want to check your audio, stay at settings. All righty, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our very basic Investment Dominator training today. And since everyone can hear me, I will not be looking at the chat unless I change screens and you're not able to do that. But just everyone give me a thumbs up if you can in the chat box. If you can see the Investment Dominator screen and it's like moving around and you can see that happening right now. So the send me your questions is available. Fantastic. Thank you, Mark and Lydia, excuse me, and Jim and Natalia. Thank you for giving me the actual thumbs up. Hey, I love it. All right. Thank you, friends. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Like I've said like 8 times. And I have already confirmed to join with your computer audio. Click on the chat to chat, and all the calls are recorded. We're working on getting those uploaded to the system. I'm assuming you're all here because you have purchased Investment Dominator or you have access to it and you want to know better how to use it. And I'm assuming most people in this class are fairly new. So we're going to talk about how you take all the information over here, you can plug it into Investment Dominator, and somehow you get letter campaigns, offers, websites, your calculators and tools, reports and analytics, and team management. Tonight, we're going to go over the basic things to put into your system, such as your company information, county and property data, your mailing list, your direct mail campaigns. If you're a realtor or broker, we'll talk a little bit about how to do that. And let's see, direct mail campaigns and your settings for we already said settings for realtor brokers. We'll be talking about your profile and setting up your signature, as well as your support contact information. We will also talk about how to create a custom domain for buying and selling sites, how to register and update your domain and securing your domain, and also support, creating your ticket, any coaching that you may be interested in doing. And then we'll go over some questions. And then any questions, if for some reason we don't get to questions tonight, we'll go ahead and shuffle those over to Thursday for the Q&A session. The presentation itself normally runs about half an hour, and then we'll get to the Q&A. Okay. So the time everyone has been waiting for is our demo time. That used to do really fun things, but it just doesn't tonight. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. As soon as I get this screen down, we will do demo time. All right. Okay, so here is my Investment Dominator. This is my demo account. And as you can see, my demo account is named Bob Newhart because why? It's fun. And Bob is in land profit generator just like you, and he has the Investment Dominator system, and he is ready to roll. He's going to do some selling. So It's going to do the very basic things, and we're going to show you what Bob did in order to make sure his profile, his company information, and the websites, and we'll talk about phones and all that good stuff. So we're going to start under profile. Under your profile, you want to click My Profile. You want to make sure you have information there. This is the information that will go on the signature that you have here, will go on your marketing campaigns. So that is those are the neutral letters that go out, and it will not go out on any of your packages where you're sending out actual sales agreements or something like that. This is just for your marketing information. So first name, last name, email, phone number, and time zone. Time zone is very important because your time zone goes on the bottom of your letter. So you want to make sure that if you're in Pacific time, having Eastern time, saying you work from 8 to 6 Eastern in your Pacific could be a sad thing for you, especially now with the time zone, with the daylight saving time that's gone into effect. Then you get that 6 a.m. phone call, you may be a little sad. So we want to make sure that we're eliminating the possibility of that. Make sure that your time zone is up to date. There's also another section, which is in the customize section for your company profile. That's another place where you want this to match. If it's not matching, it will just take the information that's in here and put it onto your letter. So you want to make sure that your time zones match and that they are accurate. For signatures, you can either upload a signature. You can go in and get an image for your signature. So here's a little signature. You want to make sure that you crop it. Same thing, kind of sort of with this one's a little special because that nice dot up there. You can also be fancy and put a black background, but that really isn't wise. So you have that here. It's going to show up as a preview until you roll down here and you hit update. And once you select update, it will change right here. So this space is the information station. It will let you know what you've selected to be your image. Okay, if you choose to generate a signature, that's always fun. You just click this generate signature button, put in your name, select a font. That looks fancy. And then you can even choose colors in here. If you want your marketing to be a little fun, St. Patrick's Day is the next thing coming up, or if you're Easter, you can change it to lilac or whatever you choose to celebrate, and whatever color you would want it to be, you could do just that. You'll just simply press insert signature. Again, it's going to show up in that preview section because your information station still says that you have the written signature. Hit update, and voila, you're updated. Okay. All right, this is also a section where you can change your password. You can also put in a profile picture if you'd like, and you can look over the Investment Dominator tour, which we're actually upgrading, which kind of eliminates the need for this call, but we're going to keep it fun. So that's down the road there, so we don't have to worry about that tonight. So once you have your profile page all updated, then you're going to cruise on over to customize. And in customize, there are lots of things to customize, but right now we're going to be focused on your company information. So you click company information. And once you get into that page, that's a lot of information. Now, don't feel sad if you don't have all that information set up just yet. You can still sell things. You just want to make sure that you're putting the best phone number for your company. So say you have like a Google phone number that connects to your cell phone. You could put that there if you don't want anyone to have your exact cell phone number. But you absolutely want to make sure that you have a company address that is not a PO box, because when you put in those things, that information is going to show up on your marketing letters and then also your sales agreements. So this is your company information. This is going to show up on your letters. Again, like I stated, the company time zone down here is also very important. So you want to make sure that that is updated and matching. I have one person that's saying they can't see the screen. Can everyone see the screen that we're on, or did it not change from are you not able to see the Investment Dominator right now? Okay, Mark can see it. Jim can see it. All righty. All right. It's unanimous. Everyone can see it. All righty. Thank you for confirming. You can now see it, Melissa. All righty. So we're going to keep going here. We've got the company information. All of that is here. So this is also a space where you can put in offer emails. You also have your selling site email. And again, if you do not have all of this information, do not fret. You can just put in what you do have to get going. That would be like your phone number, your address, things to send out that first mailing. If you don't have a specific offer email or buying a selling site email just yet, that's okay. You can just put that information in later when you update, but you can still send out those neutral letters and get that done to get your first batch out to see if you can bring in more funds, because this is an investment and you kind of like, just like with regular real estate, if you're selling houses, you have to have money to get all of those endorsements and to make sure that you have all of the credentials and whatnot. So for land, it's not too much different. You just don't need all the credentials that a real estate agent would need. However, you may want to have capital to purchase your first property. I know that in the land profit generator system, they talk a little bit how to do that process. And so also that's a great space for your coaches to give you some advice on how to bring in more capital so that you can grow your business. But it's okay if you're not there yet. Just get the information in and start sending out your neutral letters. Okay, if you are a real estate agent or a broker, you have the opportunity to put a disclosure right here. It's very short, sweet, to the point. If you want to change it, this is one of the few places that you can actually change the wording without a lot of effort. It's just basically going in and taking it out. You might want to just say, hey, Bob Newhart holds a real estate license. So we just take that out and put a period there. But we know that if we do anything, we have to hit update site. When I first started here and I set up my demo account, I was so excited because I had all these fun things in here because I have a big imagination and it's fun. But I didn't hit update. So all that great information was gone. And then I was like, what happened? Oh, we didn't hit this update site. So you definitely want to hit update after every change. You do not have to worry about this tax ID type, your social security number, EIN. None of that information has to be particularly in this section. Of course, as you're going down the road and you're closing the deal, then that's when money is changing hands. They may ask for that information, but you are not required to put it here in this site. Okay? If you are not a real estate agent or broker, just simply click no, and voila, it disappears. It doesn't show up on the bottom of your letters, and you're good to go. I know that there are lots of other juicy things here to customize, but we're not going to pay attention to those because right now we're doing the bare bones basics. Okay, so you may have noticed that Bob has like 3 phone numbers here and he's got a lot going on. So we are going to go ahead and take a look at our first user guide article, which gives the details on why. This is Ring Central. So under Ring Central, it goes under a recommended Ring Central setup. Are you required to use Ring Central? No. However, is this the system that is already built into Investment Dominator and works the best with our system? Yes. So if you would like to have Ring Central as the person that helps you have 3 magical lines, you can do that. So there's 2 lines set up. This is more cost effective, especially when you're starting out, and it gets the job done. Once you send out all of those letters, then you have the opportunity to have someone answer those calls. You can go through Pat Live. So this is just a diagram of what the recommended phone setup looks like. So you have 2 phone numbers. The first number is a local number for your business. The person can press 1 to request an offer or press 2 to ask questions about your offer. Some people will use Pat Live. Pat Live is a group that it's like an answering service. They help to weed out those calls that may be something that would generate additional funds for you, or if they're just someone that's playing on the phone, or people who are calling in to not actually do business with you. So they will help to weed out some of those calls for you. If you choose to do that yourself, you're more than welcome to do so. It's your business at the end of the day. So we honor that. But this is the recommended phone setup. The second line is for questions about land for sale. Many people, as seen here as in this diagram, they will use their cell phone number to make sure that it does have the company caller ID though. So it will come up as your company name after you've selected your buying and selling names or whatever you want your company name to be. Then that caller ID will come up and you can use that line to basically answer those questions about land for sale. People will use their cell phone for it. So just using something that you will answer and that's personal. The article goes on how you can set this up, and all of that information is contained in this user guide article. So what I'm going to do is take this and put it into the chat right now so that you can have access to it. So if you want to click on it and take a look at the information there or bookmark it, you have the opportunity to do so. Okay. So this goes on and it gives you all of the details. Once you've gone on in your business and you've grown and you want to do 3 lines, you're welcome to do that as well. Again, this is the Ring Central setup for 3 lines. It tells you how that works and how to set it up. So if you have additional questions about that, take a look at this article. It will it will give you the layout of how all of this works. Of course, they are separate entities, so I do not have pricing information off of the top of my head for anything that is discussed today. I can only go through Investment Dominator, and you all know that because you're here. So, all right. So one other thing that you will see here is that Bob has a buying site and a selling site, and that opt-in page is actually connected to his sites. This is something that is built into Investment Dominator. Now, it is a very general template, but it gets the job done, and that's what it was made for, just to make sure that you have a space to sell your land. If you want, the opt-in page is your contact us information here. So you can have people send you a message. As you can see here, it takes the information from your company profile, your company information profile, and puts the information down here for you. So there's nothing that you have to plug in to make your website work. You just fill in the information and you can choose your templates if you'd like. There are spaces to customize that within Investment Dominator as well, as far as just the built-in templates. You can also customize a theme, but that gets into, you definitely want to have someone to help you to design that, because there's a lot of coding that needs to be done. And then there's a zip file to send over to us, and I'm not going to go any further with that. So cross that bridge when we get to it. But if you want more information about custom themes, there's also an article for that in Investment Dominator. Our user guide in Investment Dominator. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, we did talk about the websites. I'm going to talk about the DNS server settings. So once you select, you're going to have 2 domains. The first domain is going to be for your buying site. The second domain is going to be for your selling site. So you need one for your buying site and one for your selling site. And I'm going to show you how to update the DNS servers if you're going through GoDaddy. GoDaddy is something that we use here at Investment Dominator. However, you're welcome to use it. The process will pretty much be the same for any company, but just to make you familiar about what a CNAME is and all of that, we'll go through that process right now. Okay. So you've got your domain. We're just going to do one of the domains here, which is lotsofcashoffers.com. And we'll hit DNS. And this takes me to the DNS management, the DNS records. And if you have someone that's that you purchased your website, your custom domain names from, they would be able to help you with this process if you're not entirely certain how to get to that. Okay, Megan wants to know, where did I go to get to the domain page? So if you're with GoDaddy, you just log in. Once you've logged in, you're going to go to My Products. My Products will bring up the page where I was. It just brings up your list of domains down here. Lotsofcashoffers.com is ours. And then we hit DNS, and it'll take you straight over to the DNS server. DNS records, excuse me. Okay, and Let's see here. So as we're looking at this, you will have a section that has the CNAME. So we'll click here to do an edit just so you can see how we're putting in that information. And as you can see here in GoDaddy, they're wonderful because they kind of tell you what's what. So CNAME records, if you're wondering, it's a type of domain or alias that points to another domain name. So when you're in Investment Dominator, you have this huge line of information. That's where your website is. So your buying site has all of this information. And if anybody's curious, the CRM number is a 5-digit number that is unique to you. And when you put in tickets, we use this number to identify your system so that we can go in and make any fixes on our end, or we can research anything that's going wrong with your Investment Dominator system. So that's what this 5-digit number is. But I imagine you wouldn't want to put this on a business card. You want something that's quick and snazzy and unique to you, and that's why we suggest the custom domains. So that's how we got here in the first place. So the CNAME record is going to be the alias that points to another domain name. You're going to do that through Investment Dominator. So it's going to be Investment Dominator. So you'll have lots of choices. You will select CNAME. You'll put www, no need for dots or anything. And then in the value, you will put investmentdominator.com. This period here does not have to be there. It will automatically generate once you save it. Then you have the TTL, which is the time to live. You will choose custom. So you're going to go all the way up to the bottom, select custom, and then you're going to put in 600 seconds. And it's just that simple. You're going to go through that process twice, once for your buying site and once for your selling site. Then we're going to click save. And GoDaddy is polite, so once they're complete and the update is completed, it lets you know that it's been updated. It could take up to 48 hours to update globally. So you may want to give it some time if you don't see it all the way around. However, it's normally instantaneous, happens within an hour at the most. Okay, so the second place where you want to make changes is down here for forwarding, because that's where your custom domain name comes into play. Okay, so both the buying and the selling site will go to investmentdominator.com, but your forwarding the domain will be different because you're going to have two separate names for that. So again, this domain, this is your domain name, and I'll do an edit here so you can see the forwarding. It won't do an actual forwarding. There's more information that it will ask for. However, because this is already forwarded, it will not show that information. Okay, so then you have HTTP and HTTPS, but you want to choose HTTP. The S stands for the secure, so security. So since we supply you with 2 security certificates for your buying site and your selling site, then you would just choose HTTP at GoDaddy or wherever you have selected to purchase your domains, because you do not need to purchase an additional security certificate from them. You get them free with Investment Dominator. That's why we're doing the forward. If for some reason you choose to purchase additional security, you're more than welcome to do that. However, just let you know, you can get it for free with your purchase of Investment Dominator. Okay. So here you have www.lotsofcashoffers.com. That's exactly what you want to put into this box, just the web address for where you're forwarding that Investment Dominator. Okay, and you're going to select permanent. And once that's been selected, you're going to save it. Now, if you have questions about setting up your domain, I also have a link for that process as well. And again, this process can take up to 48 hours depending on the site. So GoDaddy lets you know that forwarding will take place in about 48 hours. Okay. So for security purposes, let me go ahead and pull up that article right now. And if anybody's curious about how to get a hold of the user guide, it is right here in Investment Dominator. Again, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A. I don't want them to get lost in the chat box. Okay, so here we are. Let's see. Custom domain. Okay. And this gives you more information about how to change your website's domains. Those are the custom domains and getting them set up. It also goes through the setup information for GoDaddy in there. Okay, so once we go through that process, it tells you the steps, step by step. Register your domain, it's pointed to our server. It also tells you what you need to put into Investment Dominator in order to get your websites to work once that process is completed. All the way down, it tells you about your forwarding. Everything is outlined for you in this article, so please make a note of that article. Again, this recording will be available. However, any of the old setup calls will have this exact same information. Any of them within the last 6 months will have the exact same setup information. And as always, your user guides are the best resource because most of the time these articles are the first things that are updated. If you come across something that doesn't quite match, please let us know, send us a ticket, and we'll make sure that we update that information for you. Okay, so this is going to tell you how to change your domain and all of this information. Okay, please excuse me a moment. Thank you. I had a little cough and tickle in my throat that was going on there. All right, so we've gone over the DNS server. We talked about how to change the DNS records, then the domain name. So now we'll take a look at our help section and talk about how to create a new support ticket. It's all built in right here. You'll just go to help if you need additional help. Here's where you can access all of your user guides. Oh, if you had any questions about the security, I'm sorry, I forgot the security certificate. This tells you how to generate and install the security certificate for your custom domains. So this goes through the step-by-step directions on how to install that security certificate as well. You want to make sure that you do that for both of your domains. And these are the step-by-step pictures and instructions on how to do that. Now, if you choose to install your own security certificate, you can do that right here. This is optional again, and this is how you can put the additional information in and where to go for your customization settings. So I'm just going over this really slowly here, but I will also pop this into the chat for your review. Okay. All right. So if you have questions as you're going through this process, we highly recommend that you go ahead and send in a ticket. Our support tickets are the best way to get your questions answered. We do highly recommend that you send in like a video of what you're experiencing or a picture. That kind of gives us the opportunity to make this process a little bit faster as far as getting it resolved. The more information, the better. So creating a support ticket is basically opening up that support ticket, putting in your information here, giving us a link to either a Loom. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with Loom. However, I will put that into the chat as well. It is a free service where you can go in and send us a video of what is happening, and you can talk over that video. So it's kind of like not necessarily a YouTube video, but kind of. So you can just kind of talk and point and show us what is happening. So just like when you go to the doctor normally wants you to come in and take a look at you to get the best diagnosis if there is one. So we absolutely want to see what's happening there. So sometimes it may be just the click of a button, or there may actually be a bug that needs to be fixed, and we appreciate everyone sending in tickets to help us to do just that. It's important that you let us know like what platform you're using, like what type of device and browser that you're using, and making sure that we can confirm whether or not that browser has been updated. If you have an error message, get a screenshot of the error message, and then you can kind of make the determination on what the priority is. I know ideally to get things resolved right away is what everybody wants. We want it now. Sometimes if it's the weekend, it may take a little bit of time to make sure that we get a resolution, because most of our technology team is in Monday through Friday. So if it's a more severe issue, we'll absolutely come in and do that over the weekend. But in some instances, it may be the next week. So if you have any files that you need to attach, you can do that here. And you can create a new ticket, or if you have an existing ticket, you can update that existing ticket. Okay, you also have your ticket history here, so any ticket that you've put in, it will be here. This is also a great space to check for any responses to your tickets. I know that here recently, I believe someone, they're in the process of fixing the system to ensure that you get an email, and that email will go to the email that you set up in your profile. So whatever the email here is the one that we will contact you with for IT, and this phone number and that information is what we use to get in contact with you. Excuse me. Okay, one of the other cool things about using this system is if you have a feature that you feel like would be beneficial to your business, we absolutely welcome those ideas. One of the best ways to put those in is to suggest a feature. Again, you can do that straight from the help section and do suggest a feature. We're always trying to grow and learn new things. So if there's something that you're using in your business, because many of your friends here in IT, we're not using the business. We're actually just fixing the Investment Dominator. But if there's something you as a user that uses this every single day, you see something that would be beneficial to your business and you think that it would be great for everybody else to use as well, write it here. We want to hear about it. We welcome that. So you put all that information here, select your option. You could say not that important, but cool to have. You're really finding a need for it more and more, or it is holding back your success. You've talked to your coach and you have identified that this is like not the best thing for you. Go ahead and put in that feature suggestion. Okay. And I believe that's it. If you missed some of today's training session, of course, we do upload those training sessions. I know that we had a technical glitch with the system that we use to upload. However, we should be putting those up here shortly. Normally, it takes about 2 weeks for us to get the recordings posted. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to put in a ticket. We'll be happy to help you. That's why I decided to start putting the links in that we're using so that you have access to those. But we have group training sessions. If you miss out on your question tonight, you can always come to our Q&A session on Thursdays. And I'm not sure how many people sprang forward this past early Sunday morning at 2 a.m. Well, it was 2 a.m. for us, so I guess it was the passing between Saturday night into Sunday morning. But at any rate, we're still doing the same time, so 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm on Central, so it's 1 o'clock in my head already. But you can meet me here then, and we could go over some of those questions that you may have. We have some new features that are going to be released this week, I believe on Thursday night. So I could talk a little bit about those, and we may have to postpone it until the next week after they actually come out. And then on Mondays, we always have the live setup training session, which is our very basic training. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and take a look in our Q&A box and see what we've got here. Okay, I have an anonymous attendee that let me know they can hear now. Fantastic. Alrighty, so how to import data into the system manually. Okay, so if you are importing, are you importing your leads? This is 16, wait, I-613. I don't have a name there. Okay, so if you're importing leads from another space, it can be tricky, but you can do it. Okay, so you are just trying to import leads into Investment Dominator. And these are your land leads. Okay. So let's see here. So in land, you would go under land and you would select import. Okay. And so it's going to give you a choice how to import those leads. You can either get them from a data service right here, and this is an external data service integration to import your land lease. So depending on what plan that you have selected, that is where you'll get those leads, and that's how many leads you will get. Then they have the option to upload a CSV file as well. But there are some parameters to make sure that this is still linking. That's our sample list, which is helpful. So when you go in there to import, it gives you an actual sample list. It gives you an idea of what your fields should be in order to import successfully. So it opens up this Excel spreadsheet. There's also an article in our user guide that gives you these details as well. And you just have to use these exact words in order to bring in those lists. So let me see if I can find the article really quickly. Land investing. There's also one for housing investing, and I'll go ahead and throw this in the chat as well for your records. I put it in the chat, but I never showed it on the screen. Hey, here it comes. All right. So here's how to import your list for land investing. So they are the same directions. The step-by-step tells you about your file formatting, and this is coming directly from, as you can see, this is a clip directly from Investment Dominator. So this is a breakdown of those required fields to let you know that your import CSV file must include those required fields of information. So it's saying yes as required, and this is the field name, and it tells you about the value. So this goes into great detail about your character limit and any format that you're using. You want to be mindful of that. Some of these don't matter. So a lot of these, the things that say no, they're nice to have, but it doesn't matter if they're in there or not. We don't have any requirements on having those particular fields, okay? That the ones that say yes. And so if this is daunting, going through this entire list, down here, it just gives you this information, 11 required import fields, and they're all listed here. And then there's 32 optional import fields. So you can bring those in if you want to. If they're not there, the system will not crash and burn on you. So you still have the opportunity to bring in your fields. Then it goes into the option of uploading your file. As you saw in Investment Dominator, as I just showed you, this will tell you where to upload your own list and how to do the paid integration. So the data service will give you an amount, but you want to bring yours in from outside. So you'll do the upload CSV file and create new records, and then you can drag and drop or locate it on your computer. Okay, and then you'll hit that blue upload list to begin the import. It goes on with that entire session. It will let you know exactly what you brought in completely, and it will also let you know if something isn't working. Please note this import file size limit as well. And then troubleshooting your issues. It's pretty clear about like what's happening here. So it's letting you know what's happening. So your column's misnamed, or you have blank fields that should be, they're one of the 11. So you just want to be mindful of that. And it goes on and on and on. So it'll tell you what it's flagging. Okay. So this has a wealth of information, and then there's some other data service update informations if you choose to use the data service as well. I hope that answers your question. All right, so let's see. Oh, Natalia, thank you so much for bringing in the user guide as well. Okay. see. Would you care to show again where the search box is? The search box for user guide, the user guide, is that what you're asking? If you're looking for the search box, let's do that. Okay, if that's what you're asking, then it'll be right here under help, user guide, and that brings up the search box for the user guide. And you can put in anything that you're looking for and go from there. Okay. Alrighty. So now we have what is the same Ring Central for the Thursday call? No. Once you go under the Thursday call, once you go here to go ahead and log in for those calls, you can go to live training. It will take you directly to the links for setting up for the call. And then you would register, just like you register for this one. It would be a different link. And then you can go ahead and put your information in and register, and it will send you information, excuse me, my goodness. Okay, so instead of having a list of data, what if I find an opportunity on Facebook and other sources and I want to track it? So it's more of like a one lead at a time. This would be a one-off situation, if that makes sense. Absolutely. So if you happen to be on Facebook and someone says, hey, take this lead, it could be good, it could be beneficial, then all you have to do is add record. And when you add that record, it's going to ask you for the property record status. You'll choose this if it's going to be I got a little happy with my clicking here. I had to give that a second. Pending preliminary research, if you want to make sure that it's ready to send out a letter, you put in the caller's information, the owner of a record. This is exactly the form also that Pat Live would use, any type of answering service, or if you decide that you have a team, this is a great thing to do. So if you have a caller that calls in and says, hey, I want some information or send me some information, you can actually put this in and this record will show up in your Investment Dominator. Okay, Megan is asking, is it okay to have an empty value, i.e. nothing for company? Is that for your own personal information, Megan, or are you speaking about the information for bringing in land records? Importing a list. So when you're importing a list, company information, the company name is actually one of the 11 required import fields that company is, and the field has to be spelled as company. So when you're taking a look at that link for the importer list for land investing, that gives you all of the details towards the bottom. Okay. Thank you for that question. Okay, so also in my profit, my account, the account and prices related to the monthly records. What do records mean? Is that leads, or how many records my plan allows me to have monthly? Are you speaking about I'm actually going to, okay, I-613. I don't have a name for you. However, I'm going to allow you to talk because I need more information about what you're asking me. So if you can unmute, and the account, the account and the prices related to monthly records, what do records mean? Is that leads, or how many records my plan allows me to have? Okay, so that sounds like you're asking about the records that your plan would allow you to have monthly for your data. Is that?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, under my profile and account, there's like a monthly fee for the investment dominator. There's different pricing. I was just wondering what those records mean. Is that leads like record, what does record mean? Is that how many records the investment dominator will store for me on a monthly basis, or is that lead that I'm going to work on? Is that what
Where
record
are you
means?
seeing that under the import
Like you
section?
go to profile, no, you go to profile. Let me see. If you go to profile on my end, is that, and I click on my profile, and when I scroll down at the bottom, I click, and then I open up my account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then if I click, like there's a pricing on there right now, and then when I click on upgrade, that's what it pops up is that upgrade. It's show three different tiers right now. 470 monthly records is $47 a month. 2450 monthly record, it's a certain price and it goes up from there. I just don't know what records mean.
Yes, that would be the records for the data program. So anything that you're importing from the data service program. Yeah.
Okay, so how many records it will store for me on a monthly basis? Is that right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of that question.
It's how many records I'm allowed to store onto the CRM under Investment Dominator.
You can store as many as you'd like. You just can't import. You can't upload them on a CSV file. There's a maximum amount that you can upload, like import that way. But importing leads,
Okay.
the maximum that you can import at one time, I believe is like 2,000. The maximum. Let me see.
Yeah,
Sometimes
that's it
this
right
is the
there. Yeah.
amount that you can, the 2450 monthly. So this is the maximum amount of leads that you can access in a month. There are special instances. So like you click here, if you need access to more, then that's just taking you over to our sales team and they'll ask you for more information about the leads, and then they'll charge you 6 cents per month. So there's no maximum on how many leads you can have in Investment
Hmm.
Dominator. There's just a limit on the importing of those leads from a CSV
Okay,
file.
got it. So it's importing into the system. Okay, got it. Thank
Correct.
you.
You're welcome. All right. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Natalia, you said, I'm in the process of setting up a mailbox. How often would I need to use it? Are most of the sales agreements done with DocuSign or is it physically mailed usually? I am not entirely certain on all of the details of that question. That would be a great question for your coach. I'm not entirely, like, as far as like your mailbox, those are like business run questions. It's not something that comes with Investment Dominator, so my knowledge is limited in that space. So I would highly recommend, if you have a coach, connect with your coach about that. They can give you the best details and advice in that area. If you do not have a coach, go ahead and reach out to your land expert. They would be happy to assist you with getting connected with a coach. Okay. Okay, and then you had questions about how to get to the help and the user guide. Um, I-613, again, we have the user guide is here under help. That's the first option, is user guide. And you click that and it brings up a separate page for the Investment Dominator user guide. So you can browse it, you can see what's new. Some of our known issues are here. Um, this is a great place to see, to look if you're like looking for something to pinpoint and you're like, well, why isn't this happening? Then you have that information there. We have a change log and we have some changes and some updates coming. So what's new, probably need to update there. Nope. Our import process is what is new right now. Okay, so you have a lot of options there, but to browse that user guide, you can click in that search box and put in just about anything, and it can bring up different training modules as well. Okay. Oh, you found it. Okay, and we're moving on. All right, so importing. Okay, we've done that. So Megan, you're saying most of your mailings will be to individuals and not a company. Okay, you would still bring that field over. So I'm not entirely certain that field is required for some reason. You can, if you're bringing in leads, you can probably just put something in there. It doesn't have to necessarily be um, the lead. No, if you bring it over with no information in it, it will ping it. So you will have to put like NA or something in that section. And I'll actually make a note to see if that's something that could possibly be eliminated. But you'll get really frustrated at this point if you if you try to do it. So I just want to save you some frustration there. Okay. All right. So Lydia, you say you have 100 possible leads with the Get Data from Data Service section. How and where can you purchase more if you'd like? We kind of went over that already. So when you go here, you would just go to import, and it's thinking about it. And when you go to get the data from the data service, it will let you know that you have credits there. Okay, so we just basically go this route and it will put there if you have. I've never seen this link, so I'm going to push this now. Let's see what happens here. Oh, okay. Does anybody else have that link? The one that says bring in, access your 1,000 free leads when you go to import? Maybe not. That might be for Maximizer now that I'm thinking about it. Okay. But if you do have leads available, the lead counts will be in your, when you go to get data from the data service. Okay. All right. And we got about 3 minutes. So let's see. We've got 2 more questions. Oh, 1 more question. Baldwin, can I skip all this Investment Dominator because I do not work manually for the responses I get? You are welcome to send out letters manually if you do not choose to use Investment Dominator. It's not necessarily, I can't advise on how to run your business. I just know it would be easier with Investment Dominator because a lot of this is automated. So if you're sending out letters, we have the wizards that will help you with that system. But if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us in our ticket system. If there's something that you know that you're just not understanding, in some cases we can set up a one-on-one. We have like 20-minute calls for individuals that may not be able to that have additional questions about how to do certain things in Investment Dominator that are tech related. We're happy to help. We just have to know. So feel free to send us a ticket and ask for that information. Okay. All right, my friends, we've got about 2 minutes. So again, if you want to enroll for the Thursday class, make sure that you go into live training and select that Thursday class and go ahead and register. And we'll send you an email as well to remind you of those classes. And let's see. All right, way to go, Megan. She just set up her buying and selling sites and they are live. Awesome. So that is wonderful. Okay. All right, everyone, thank you so much for your time and your attention. I wish you all the best in your business. And I thank you all for hanging out with me this evening. So I hope to see you on Thursday. Until then, take care and have a good evening. Be kind to yourself. You got this. All right, take care. Bye.